Hi, I'm Jim, W6LG for Ham Radio Basics. Welcome to my radio room here on Wolf Mountain. One of the antennas that I typically recommend is a dipole. It's real simple, doesn't take much to construct one. There's lots of examples on YouTube and in the ARRL handbooks, antenna books, all kinds of places to show you how to put one together. One easy way for me to remember the length of a dipole is 1, 2, 3, 4. One side is 234 divided by the frequency in megahertz. So for example, I'm going to make a 20 meter dipole, so 234 divided by 14.2 is a little over 16 feet, and that's one side, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. One side is 2, 3, 4. As far as the center insulator goes, it is really easy to do with some off-the-shelf PVC parts. Don't need to buy one, you can make one. When we first went on the air in '63, what most of us used was an insulator. We'd bring the coax up and split it so the shield would go to one side and the center conductor to the other. That was fine until it rained, and then water would come into the house through the coax and ruin the coax. But what I'm going to make is something that I believe will be watertight. To do it, I'm going to use some PVC pipe. This is 1¼ inch, happens to be schedule 40. I've got some glue, eye hooks with nuts. These are 3/16. I bought both plated and stainless steel just to see which I would prefer to use. I'm going to use a stainless steel. An SO239, and the one that I've decided to use is the bulkhead, and I'll show you why in just a minute. Going to need a couple of pipe caps for 1¼ inch. There are two kinds that I found in going to Home Depot and some local hardware stores. This one is domed, and this one is flat. Decided to get both, and I got several of each, and I'm glad I did because I made a few mistakes along the way. The domed one I'm going to use on the top, and the flat one I'm going to use on the bottom to mount because it provides a good surface for mounting the coax connector. Short section of this PVC pipe. I'm going to notch it so when I put it together, this notch will go around the nuts for the eye hooks. So assembly is really easy, and getting it ready is not a big task. You're probably going to want slightly larger than an 1/8 inch drill bit. Locate the center of two caps, whether you use two flat ones or two domed ones or one each, doesn't matter. Drill a pilot hole. The eye hook is going to go in one of them, and what I ended up doing was putting the eye hook in the top of, let's see if I can get one here, in the top of the pipe cap. Actually, I changed the one that I'm making. I changed this slightly. I decided to put a nut on top, so it's going to be nut, washer, and then the bottom washer and nut, and another nut, so that it's got two nuts on it. So drill a hole, put in the eye hook. That part's finished. About 1.5 inches of PVC pipe, and then cut a notch in it 180 degrees apart. You can put this PVC pipe into the cap and just take a hacksaw and cut about a 1/2 inch swath out of both sides. Break it off with a pair of pliers. While it doesn't sound like the best way to construct something, it really is going to be fine. You're going to glue this thing together. It doesn't need to be perfect. No one's going to see this, and it'll work just fine. The bottom part of this assembly is that pilot hole, and I enlarged the pilot hole using a stepped drill bit to the point where the coax connector will sit flush with this flat surface. So I just kept running this in, test fitting the SO239 until it would be relatively, the flange would be relatively flush with the bottom cap, and that's mostly for appearance sake. Put that on the back side, and I soldered on the wires. The wires are braid, and the reason for braid is I wanted something flat because I wanted to be able to sneak past the pipe and the cap and come out the sides. Using number 14 wire or something else really wouldn't work very well. So basically I soldered in the 2 wires. 2 more holes that I drilled were 180 degrees apart. Again, I used a 3/16 drill bit to accommodate these hooks. I happen to have a drill guide that would allow me to sight and get these 180 degrees, but frankly you can take a ruler and probably mark it off just as easily. The location of the hooks is about halfway between the top and the bottom, and that's so you can accommodate the nuts on the inside. So ran those in, and again I did a nut, a washer on the inside, and tightened it down with, in this case, some couple of open end wrenches. Once those are secure and you've got the wire soldered on, you're just about done. Using some PVC glue, glue one end of this piece of pipe that you've cut off with the 2 notches. The notches are going to be facing down, and then put glue around this piece and put it together. And again, I used a braid because it's flat and allowed it to sneak out the sides. So even though I haven't done it on the video, it didn't take long to make this once I figured out what design I was going to use. So here's the completed center insulator. I've got a hook for a rope so I can hang it like an inverted V. Wires for the dipole connect to here. This is going to wrap around the wire, and I am going to solder these on. If you wanted to make this longer, it's fine, it doesn't matter. And the SO239 on the bottom, easily handle legal limit, and Dipole is a very effective antenna. So here for probably less than $15, you can make a center insulator with off-the-shelf parts from your local Ace Hardware or Home Depot. If you want to make a dipole using some of that horse fencing material, and I haven't tried that yet, you can do it this way, and instead of using hooks I used 1/4 20 screws. The SO239 is connected to those screws using solder lugs, and then some flat washers, and I haven't tested this yet. My main concern is how much power can it take, and at what point does this stainless steel wire heat up. I don't know the answer to that. But as far as this dipole goes, once you've got this thing together, it should be able to handle legal limit. There's nothing here that's going to fail. As far as hooking up a balun or a choke balun, that's a good idea. I would, because I can't accommodate it on the inside, what I'd recommend is snap-on ferrite beads that are the right mix, and just clip on 4, 5, or 6 down the coax, and that'll probably be good enough. Anyway, time to construct this was probably less than half an hour, and again, it didn't cost all that much. So that's my dipole center insulator. I'm going to string up a 20-meter dipole when the weather improves. It snowed a couple of days ago, so there's no snow on the ground, but it's still kind of cold and wet out there. Anyway, if you have any questions, post them below. If you have a version of this that is better than this, I'd love to hear from you. There's lots of ways to do this. This is the one that works the best for me. So for now, I'm Jim, W6LG for Ham Radio Basics. Thanks for watching, and if you have enjoyed this or want to see some more, please subscribe. 7-3. See you the next time. Thanks.